Dark Satellite Media.
You're listening to the Everyone But Us podcast, straight from the heart of London.
What day is it? It's the first day of the month.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, it's the first day of the month. Get up, cash your checks and get on. Get up, get up.
Get this fucking Bone Thugs vibe, man. That's how we bring it. That's how we bring it with our interviews and our fucking podcasts. I love the vibe. Anyway,
I love it, man.
Let's start properly. I'm Lewis, the Don, Gino, Bexon, East London.
Yo, my name's Waymer.
Chicken She Steve.
And you're what? Listening to the what?
Everyone but us.
Podcast, make some noise, please.
Yeah. Right, we're going to get to it. We've got two fantastic guests with us. Sorry, wrong words there. You might know who these people are. One of them is a big face in the scene. He's been involved in the hardcore scene for 2 decades and a bit now. He's in one of the most iconic hardcore bands that I've seen in my life. And, of course, the other person to my left here runs one of the most iconic underground labels in the hardcore scene. Yeah. So, first of all, I want to big up Pierre Rucktion and Knuckledust.
Give thanks.
Bund them out. BDF, Mildito.
10,000 other bands in the world.
10,000 features. The Drake of hardcore.
Oh, shit. That's amazing.
What can I say? I like to keep busy, man.
That's a great start. And of course, you heard the other voice in the background. The man them, Babylon Fi Dead. Man like Popi Rucktion in the corner. So big up Popi as well.
Yo, big up to Pop.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Marseille.
So yeah, Wemma, you kick this off, mate. Let's see.
I was just I made some notes and I was just trying to talk about the first time that I met Pierre. And I actually used to see Pierre at all the early shows before I even knew him.
Oh, okay.
Because obviously there weren't many brothers back then. So when you saw another person of colour, you'd be like,
shit,
there's two of us.
There's another fucking dickhead in this place like me. Like.
So I wanted to start there. I wanted to Pierre, man. Yeah. So whereabouts did you grow up? Can you tell us about how you got introduced into metal? And hardcore.
My parents are both Peruvian, so they found each other over here in London and decided to stay and have me. So that was a while ago, obviously, back in the
1962,
back in the late 70s.
Yeah,
and just grew up in North London, Holloway, born around Holloway. Ended up living in Neasden for a good portion of my life, northwest London. Growing up there, and kind of rock music always interests me because I always like heavier sounding music. Like back in the day, I used to listen to a lot of like thrash stuff and all the general things that people would check out, like the Kerrangs and Metal Hammer magazines and that. Back in the day, there's always like all the bands you expect to be big and whatnot.
Yes, well, yeah.
So I was a bit of a foothold into the heavier music scene, but eventually just discovering like hardcore music. The lyrics, the vibe, that everything that surrounds it, the whole attitude, just made more sense to me.
What were some of the earlier shows you went to? Because I mentioned before, like, obviously we said it on this podcast many times before, the Marquee was one of the main venues.
Yeah, the Marquee Club used to put on a lot of hardcore shows back in the day. I remember seeing Sick of It All there, Biohazard, Life of Agony playing their first show, Madball playing there, supporting the MOD.
Monsters played there.
Yeah, Spud Monsters played. That was with Life of Agony, I think.
Is that where
Propane.
Is that where you lost your tooth? Was it the Sick of It All show? Was it?
Yeah, I lost my tooth for Sick of It All show. I was at the front, just as they're playing the intro, and there must have been some punk dude just swinging his elbow back, and I didn't realise. Yeah, so I walked around the corner and I caught the elbow right in the front tooth.
Holy shit!
So I felt something snapping. It weren't right. It didn't feel right in it with my tongue. So I was like, all right. I go chat to the man on the door a second. Asked him if he had a mirror in it. And then I could see that the thing it snapped, but it was still there. So I was like, all right, fuck it, I better go fucking see if I can push it in. I didn't know if it was popped out or broken or whatever. I couldn't really see, so yeah.
So it's that fucking punk dude, like,
I don't even know. Yeah,
do we need to hunt him down?
Was that clobbering time as well?
Yeah, probably.
To get clobbered.
To be fair though, that is a fucking like bit of a savage fucking intro, like, and I can imagine it back in them days, like all the different types of people, punk heads, metal heads, hardcore kids getting down to that shit. That must be fucking intense. But rest in peace, Pierre's tooth.
Yeah, my tooth died at the Marquee Club, bro. I'm telling you.
The Marquee is actually the Montague Pike now, for anyone who doesn't know.
Charing Cross Road.
Charing Cross Road. That used to be the meeting spot for all the drunkards before we used to go over to the 12 bar. So big up all the people who used to do that before we used to go.
There used to be a lot of shows in Central before, like shows at the Astoria 2. You used to have a lot of big shows. Then you had the Marquee Club, the Borderline just round the corner from there. So that whole area in the West End used to be quite busy for stuff.
Astoria 2, was that LA? Was that LA 2?
LA 2, yeah. So that was literally right next door. And like you'd have like 2 gigs on there. You'd have like a gig at the Astoria and a gig at the LA 2 at one time. Sometimes you had to choose because you'd want to go to both of them and you'd have to go, oh fuck.
I remember I saw 36 Crazy Fists in LA 2. I also saw that fucking 8 Visions in Trivium. I don't know why I fucking went and saw it. Yeah, I don't know why I went and saw that fucking band.
Did you ever go to...
You know when you wish you can just take things back from your life and get them erased?
I'm surprised you admitted that on the podcast.
I'm open-minded, man. You know what I mean? Like, shit in life, things happen, innit? But if I could take back some certain things, I probably would have taken that one things back.
I don't even know what language that is.
It's called East London, mate. Get used to it.
Trivium. Did you ever go to one of the Fuck Reading festivals at the Astoria?
No, I never. Nah.
That was it.
No, I never went.
Talk about it, Pierre, man.
Talk about it.
Yeah, the Fuck Wedding.
I'm trying to forget it.
But you've mentioned it for people that don't know what Fuck Wedding is. What was it?
They used to do this big festival. Yeah. Well, for years they were doing it. It was like a massive punk thing. Loads of punk bands, oi bands, you know. And then when we were first starting out, they started to introduce some like hardcore bands to this festival. So they were bringing like Madball and Sick of It All playing alongside, like The Business played that one time at the Brixton Academy. But yeah, they started mixing it up. So obviously more hardcore kids are starting to go to these shows now. And they had one at the Astoria. And it's a big ass venue that used to be in Central. And yeah, the place was rammed, mate. It was a mad day, boy. I just remember one point there's like all these punks like fighting or something. They're trying to rush the door from the inside to the outside and then from the outside to the inside. And I was just sitting across where the fountain used to be, just watching it all. And it's like, yeah, enough funny shit happened that day.
I went to the one at Brixton. There's a Fuck Reading at Brixton. And all I remember is Madball playing. And there was these 2 fucking like 7 foot tall skinheads just running from side to side. And I used to get in the pit quite a lot in them days when I was a kid, and me and my mate just looked at it, we were like, nah, yeah. I'm sitting this one out, they're gonna kill us. They were fucking full pelt running, just kicking the fuck out of everyone.
Do you remember back then, you talked about what show, Spud Monsters. Do you remember back then there was a bunch of like, I call them fashion skins, they were just obviously what's Womper Stomper and thought, well, that's cool, let me put on some braces. And they used to go to all the early hardcore shows. You had a running with them, didn't you, at Spud Monsters?
To be honest, back then, I was going to shows on my own because none of my boys from my neighbourhood were really into hardcore and that. They were all into dance music and other stuff, so... But I just used to go on my J's, innit? I just, get a ticket, go down there. It was alright, just jam and just check the bands. But yeah, like I say, I didn't even know you guys. I remember seeing, you guys specifically at this Biohazard show at the Forum one time. And there was some mad battle between the people on the balcony. They were throwing shit down from the balcony, and all the people on the dance floor, which was all of us lot, and were throwing bottles back up and stuff. And it was going on for ages. Do you remember that? Were you there?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then I distinctly remember you, Ray, and Nikki, and that there just lobbing bottles up at the balcony and that. And I was like, right, these guys are mad.
So anyway, in 1996. Bit of backstory on how I eventually got to know Pierre. Me, Ray and Nikki, we went to school together, and then we started a metal band. I've talked about this many a times, and we was basically got into hardcore. We were trying to... Nikki used to sing at first, but he was pretty useless. And then we had our boy Danny Evans, a good friend of ours. He tried singing, but he couldn't sing in time. We would spend 3 hours trying to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, go! And he'd come in late or he'd come in early.
Oh, Dan, you are getting put on the spot.
So, I love you, Dan. But yeah, so
that's why Danny don't sing any vocals on his.
You know what I mean? I keep asking,
chill and hill tunes.
Yeah, I keep on asking Danny, like, you should have started burning. No.
Bro, I can only imagine what they say about me behind my back.
The rest of KD demoralised Danny. Never's joined the band ever again.
So then, basically, back then we was just discovering hardcore. We didn't know nobody else that was into hardcore at the time. So obviously trying to find a vocalist that wanted to sing in a hardcore band was literally impossible. So the way it worked is it was by coincidence or by luck, really, or divine intervention. Is that the right word?
That could be a good word to use, yeah.
Every other week I used to go down to the West End and go CD hunting. I used to go to Rough Trade. Do you remember Rough Trade? They had the CD shop downstairs. Pop's nodding. And my other spot was Berwick. Was it Berwick Street?
Yeah.
Berwick Street, because they had loads of record shops down there.
What was that spot? Selector Disc?
Yeah, I've Selector Disc, Sister Ray.
Sister Ray.
They still there?
They're still there, like, yeah.
Holy shit, man.
They do well with like vinyl and that, like there's still people walking in that places
Wow,
buying
man.
vinyl and that, yeah.
So I can't remember exactly which shop it was, but I went into one of these shops and I'm doing my thing looking for any cover that looks like
Remotely hardcore. Like,
yeah, remotely hardcore.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah, for real, man.
You had to hunt that shit boy and grab it before the next man grabbed it as well.
Yeah,
So
for
you had to
real.
get up early.
I was walking at one of the shops and there was a flyer board on the wall, and I happened to look up and there's this picture. You know, a hardcore flyer, you can kind of tell the design of it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, that looks kind of like. So I looked at it and it was like, singer looking for fucking hardcore singer looking for band, and at that time it was like fucking striking gold, man. I was like, what the fuck? I remember you wasn't supposed to take the flyers off the wall. You was just supposed to write the information down, because this is pre-internet, don't forget. But I remember
Pre-Photoshop, bro. I had to make that shit from fucking photocopying images, cutting that shit out, then gluing it with Pritt stick onto some next page, and then photocopying that. So, and all the writing was on typewriter as well, because you didn't have computer in it.
Typewriter.
You had to do all the text in typewriter, and then cut that out, and then glue it where you wanted it on the thing in it, and then photocopy it. So the whole process took time.
There's gonna be kids listening to this going, "What?
What's a typewriter, mum?"
This was 20 years ago or 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, there's no Photoshop, man.
1998, 96, 95,
That's why it's
maybe.
called cut and paste, isn't it?
Yeah, for real, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I ripped this flyer off the wall, went home, called it, and then that was my first time speaking to Pierre. I'm like, yeah, so you, I'm thinking at the time, I'm hardcore, this guy's not hardcore, you know, like, what does this guy know about hardcore? But like, so I called him up, yeah, would you be interested in trying out for our band? He was like, yeah, I'll come down. So then we arranged to meet him at East Ham train station in East London, yeah. And it was funny because I think we was in my car, or it was me, Ray and Nick, and we were sitting in the station. I don't think I ever told you this, right? I don't think I ever told Pierre this. We were sitting in the car, right? And the way we banter we have funny banter between us. So then Ray or Nick goes, I bet it's another ethnic, innit? I swear to God. But they said it in jest. It was meant as a laugh, as a joke. So we're all cracking up, and then like I
always knew them two were funny, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah. So then literally, I don't know, I'm waiting, and then who comes out the station? An ethnic. So then like I brought him to the car, and Ray and Nick's face was just like, oh shit, it was like, was shocked.
They were shook, innit?
Joke, yeah.
They thought I was going to rob them.
No, but yeah, you explained it briefly, but what led you up to doing that flyer? Had you sung for a band before? Can you talk about everything up to that point?
Yeah, I guess when I was younger, I just found hardcore, man, and I don't know, I was obsessed, mate. At that age, I needed something to kind of take my energy away from what I was going through, because my family life was a bit like up and down, really. My parents were always arguing a lot, so, you know, I kept busy. When I found hardcore, I was just obsessed in finding new records, new bands, 7 inches. Then I started doing the newsletter and stuff, so there weren't really any bands playing the style that I wanted to hear live in the UK. So I figured, fuck it, I'll just try and start a band myself. And seeing I can't play an instrument, so I just advertised myself as a singer. And lucky you guys found that flyer, mate, because yeah, things just clicked, innit, you know?
Yeah,
we were a similar age.
So mad, man.
Yeah, coincidentally we're all a similar age, and I can't fault these guys' attitudes, you know. When it comes to hardcore, they are hardcore, you know what I mean? And yeah, we're just doing it for the love, so.
So you'd never sung for a band before? Or done anything?
Nah, before
any
that,
band?
I was advertising to try and start one. I got in touch with some other people before you, but that didn't really go anywhere. And then you guys were patient enough to let me, progress and learn what I was doing, because I had never sang before. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Shit, man.
I wonder what those other people are doing now. They're probably successful.
Yeah.
I'm only joking. I say that all.
Most, one of them's Bullet from a Valentine, other one's Parkway Drive.
One of them's Trivium.
Everyone but us. Straight from the heart of London.
Lewis, do you remember St Mark's Church? There was a church.
I know St Mark's Church very well.
Yeah,
very well.
Cause what it is, me and Lewis grew up in the same area called Beckton, and there's a church there called St Mark's Church, and they used to, back in the day when when the government used to actually put money into the community, we had like a youth workshop, and that's basically how I began playing. They had in the summer holiday, they had this camp where you could come down, pick up a guitar, pick up a bass, play drums, and learn instruments. And that's how basically me, Ray, and Nick started playing music. So Pierre came down, we went to the church, and I know, do you remember that first time singing, man? What was that like for you? Because I was thinking that must be quite nerve-wracking. You never sung before, 3 guys you don't know, and then all of a sudden we're like, right, I can't remember what song we done. We was like, yeah, sing. It was like some X Factor shit, wasn't it?
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, it's a bit of pressure involved, isn't it?
I'm trying to think what the church people must have been thinking. What the fuck are these people doing?
But they hated us, man. Imagine that, like, it was like,
was this devil music in our church? Like, I can imagine it.
It's hardcore though. At the end of the day, so whatever.
Yeah,
screaming, innit?
You just scream and did it, right?
I styled it, and yeah, that was it.
It's kind of mad because at least
me back.
At least you guys are doing something positive rather than being out on the street and doing.
No, we got kicked out of St Mark's Church.
But we were there a long time.
Yeah,
and that was like free rehearsals, mate. You know what I mean? Free rehearsal space. Save a lot of money. I used to go there twice a week from Neasden, and that's before the Jubilee Line extension as well.
Shit,
so that journey was a bitch, boy.
The links to East were horrible back in the day, man. Horrible.
But we saved a lot of money on practice. That's why we kind of.
We're lucky, innit, really?
Started playing quite soon after we formed as well, I guess, because we had that ability to practice that much.
Yeah, nah.
There were like lots of little young kids in it that used to come to the window from the outside when they heard us playing and making noise.
Well, 50 Calibre, that's where Terry Simmons, Billy Calibre,
and they were just trouble.
A lot of them
guys,
guys
I think they grew up
from the same area
afterwards. But they were I just remember these little kids, man, idea knee, causing trouble, trying to get into the room so they can steal shit.
It was a nightmare, wasn't it?
It was like, let me in. I was just like,
man.
They didn't really fuck with me though.
No, they won't fuck. They will try to just steal shit, but not gonna fuck with you because they know like
fuck with
might
them.
be a lose.
Fuck with them, look.
Nah, but my idea when I done this, when I was playing, I always just thought it'd be a fun thing. It would just be every Wednesday we're going that room, and we're just playing. That'd be it. And then I remember Pierre, like, he was like always trying to do the next thing, like he's like, yeah, I want to organise a gig, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, okay, yeah, cool, yeah, do it, yeah, organise a gig. But in my head, I'm thinking, nothing's going to come from it. And then I remember, I think 2 or 3 weeks later, he turns up and goes, yeah, I've organised a gig at, what's that venue in Camden?
Oh, the Laurel Tree.
Yeah, the Laurel Tree. And then that's when we had our first gig. And then basically it just fucking...
Who did you play with?
What's that now? That's the Brewdog, isn't it? Behind the
It's
Underworld.
a Brewdog, yeah.
It's a Brewdog.
That was a venue?
On the corner. It used to be called the Laurel Tree.
Oh, see.
And
I had no idea.
Along with the guys from FLS and Vehemence, we booked that venue. And invited Stamping Ground down.
Yeah, shout out to Stamping Ground, the OGs.
So I just booked it up because we had a couple of songs that were, a couple of songs that sounded like they were ready to play. I figured that's right for a first show, opening up.
Sounds good, mate.
So I dropped it on them lot, innit?
Especially in the heart of like the
I was shitting myself, bruv, man.
He never played live yet, and same I ain't played live, but
I remember just playing it and fucking really enjoying myself.
Was the show busy or?
It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad. It was like a small little room sort of thing, but I mean, there's people
20, 30
like
people?
Fatty and stuff were there apparently, but I don't even remember seeing them back then. Obviously,
damn, that's
we didn't know them till after the Warzone show, really, and that's when we kind of exchanged numbers and met up afterwards.
Was the Warzone show? So basically, Knuckledust. The first big gig we ever done was Knuckledust opening up for Backfire and then Warzone at the Underworld. That was about the third show along, wasn't it?
You see, when I was young as well, man, like I was saying, I was proper obsessed, mate, with New York hardcore. And for me, from when I first heard like Warzone, then that was my shit, man. And I couldn't stop bumping that. So I wanted to see them live, innit? And I remember like writing letters to so many people, like people at MAD in Germany, and trying to get information of when they're coming or if we can book them a show or something. And then, funnily enough, all of a sudden they advertised to be touring and coming over, and Stamping Ground were going to be opening up for them at Backfire. And Ian Glasper contacted me and said that them boys couldn't do the show, and if we wanted to play it,
that's mad.
Obviously, I was over the moon, mate, because you know I idolized like Warzone. The message and the music was my shit, man. When I was younger, and that just made so much sense to me, and yeah, still does today.
Do you know what? That was the first hardcore show I've been to. I saw the vocalist spent 90% of the time in the pit. It was an amazing show, wasn't it?
Did you see Warzone Pops in France or anything?
No, I never. They never came. I was from the south of France, and most of the bands just didn't come down there. So I remember going to Pierre's for the first time and seeing that picture of him and Rabies, and said maybe a few months after, and I was just gutted.
Do you know, I would love to have the original of that picture, man. The one that's online now is a copy of a copy of a copy.
Because it's my biggest regret, I think, in hardcore, that I never saw Warzone. I was supposed to see them in Germany in '98, the last tour. We were gonna hitchhike and blag our way into the show. It was everything was organised, all laid down, and it never happened. He passed away, and that was it,
Yeah, man. Okay. Rest in peace to Rabies, man.
Yeah, so Warzone, I mean, moved me from a young age. You know what I mean? And the whole ethic behind it. Because I was doing a lot of DIY stuff as well. I was doing the Time for Some Action newsletter again, which is another photocopied, cut the shit out, stick it all together and photocopy business. Yeah,
talk about that, man, a bit more in depth, because you used to do. I remember
that was just a simple thing of the bands that I liked. I wanted to see play over here, but it didn't seem like there was that much of a following for it. So I would take the adverts of their releases from other like fanzines and whatever, photocopy it all together on one double-sided A4 piece of paper and just hand it out to people, just in the hope that someone else might look into it, order it on like in a post and like it, and then maybe the scene might be big enough for these bands to come and play. But I just made good contacts, to be honest. From when I started handing it out, some people contacted me, we met up and whatnot, and friends that have been in my life for a long time as well.
So go on, Steve.
I think that was the first time I ever had contact with you from that, because I think my old band at that time done like a demo, and you were the first person to actually do any kind of mention of what we were doing. It was only like a little thing. I was like, fucking wicked, man. So I called you up. I was like, mate, thanks so much for that. Like, little like 18, 17-year-old me just like, thank you so much. Yeah.
What year was that? Want to go cinema?
Let's meet up. No, it must have been 97, I think, 98, maybe.
Yeah,
wow.
Probably. I've known you a long time, Steve.
Yeah.
I didn't realise you guys met that early. I thought it was a bit later than that.
I think it's because Northwest London, innit?
Oh, okay.
There was a metal scene here as well, because they done the Uxfest thing in Uxbridge.
Oh,
so they used to bring all the local and then
that was amazing.
We'd play it on occasion with like Rucktion bands every year. So
no, that was an amazing festival. I used to love Uxfest, man.
I did.
Yeah, some crazy shit happened there. That Warzone show as well was kind of, in my mind, that moment where everyone in that room didn't know each other, but were all there for the same reason. And then after that moment in time, then everyone made contact. Like Herbert
that's what I was
there,
going to say.
9 Bar Boys were there.
Yeah.
Like so many people from like all over the world, really, and they're still in our lives now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We're still tight like that. From that moment, it was mad, innit?
No, it was very organic, man. That was like the seed, and then we'd make friends with someone, and then they would start a band, and then they would make friends with someone, they would start a band, and that's how the scene grew from what I can remember.
Yeah, because we met the 9 Bar Boys there. They came up to us after we played and that, and we gave them demo, and we must have exchanged numbers, because I remember we met up one time in East London, innit? Remember we went to that factory in that Renault's had access to, innit?
Yeah.
Were you there?
Yeah. So basically, our friend from back in the day, his dad used to own a printer's firm. He used to print posters and stuff like that. And our first ever EP, he printed the booklet for it. So are you talking about? So we all went down to his dad's factory to.
And nice guy feels shit on the staircase outside.
Yeah, that's
innit?
another story.
Man.
You know what?
That's young and
I'm
stupid.
like, there's nothing to say. He just said a nice guy feels shit on the stairs. That is such a nice guy feel story, isn't it? Like, fucking hell, mate.
But I wanted to ask you. I mean, my first ever time properly up north. I've been up north, obviously, with the family to go Lake District or Autumn Towers. But you had a link with the guys from Sheffield, Manchester, Leeds, and I remember you arranged our first ever show. I spoke about it on this podcast. I went down.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And we all went up on a coach.
Oh, was it a coach? So you got a better memory than me, bruv.
Yeah, we got the National Express in that because I don't think anyone had the car at the time. And I took my mate from school in it, who he ain't really into hardcore and that. He was into some indie music or whatever at the time, but you know what I mean. He just come up for the piss up, and it was all vegan and hardline bands playing, I think, and like, us opening, and right, that was alright. They seemed to dig it, so it was alright.
No, that was the
There's
first.
a few arguments breaking out between each other factor over there at the time, so we were just sitting in the background, just watching it all. But
You probably got questions to answer, but was it proper hardline, like up there in the days, like in terms of the straight edge and all that shit? Like,
It was pretty hard line, and this
there was that factor.
yeah.
I never come in contact
Well,
with.
like, mans would smack cigarette at your hand or shit like that.
Nah,
sort of
it wasn't
vibe
like
or
that.
nothing like that.
I tell you what, it was funny because, like I said, I never come in contact with straight edge people before. I'm talking to them like they're some sort of breed or something.
Some
But I'm just
fucking-
saying, back then,
some alien race of people, like the people who don't drink or do anything.
No,
I mean, they were arguing about like they were arguing about abortion. That's what they were kicking off.
yeah, it was
and,
pretty.
like,
It was
about-
pretty. Yeah,
Alright, fair enough.
it was pretty hard line. Some of it,
Yeah.
but that's where I first met. We met Sheep, and then we met the guys.
Well,
from,
I knew them guys before because I used to go to Sheffield. Like even it must have been in our early days or before Knuckledust.
No, it's definitely before it would have been.
Yeah, obviously when hardcore shows would come through, which wasn't often, then I'd check the one in London, and then usually they'd be playing Bradford Rios in it in the north, and I'd just jump on a coach because I was tape trading at the time with a lot of people. Then had contacts in Sheffield and stuff, so I went up, stay with them, and then we'd drive up from Sheffield to Bradford and check the show. And like, yeah, it was alright.
Oh, so that's how
know
you
what I mean?
become friends with like
So, and
everyone.
all
down
of them
there.
were straight edge mans, innit, and vegans. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, they, you know what I mean, they know what I'm about. So
Vegan in '95.
we all respected
and
each
shit.
other.
That's,
They always looked
Oh, yeah.
after me.
that's pretty.
That
fucking
being said,
hard,
innit?
man.
Yeah, like veganism's only sort of starting to get any kind of mainstream notoriety or like knowledge of veganism. It's only starting to get in the mainstream now, and it's still the early days.
That must have
You
been
imagine how it must have been for them back then. Like,
just pure,
trying to do that.
Pure tofu is all I remember.
fucking pure pita bread and fucking hummus. Like, damn.
I remember when we was playing up there, like we used to sneak off and go to the burger shop. And and I just thought, I was like,
We got busted
I
one
feel like
time,
I'm
yeah.
committing a
we were,
crime,
we were
like.
sitting in there eating. We were like smugging at eating our roast and whatnot, and then all of them were in the shop window just with the dirtiest look. Like, obviously taking the piss, you know what I mean? But it was just fucking the scene. All of them were in the window just looking at us with this disgust.
But you say that they still have that level of like, yeah, we're pretty pissed off, but at the same time, they're like,
Oh, no,
still
they're our
friends,
boys,
like,
mate.
They're still,
I tell
they're
you.
exactly that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
you know,
They're still our friends.
They're
like,
exactly the
still-
same as us
they have
with the
just
piss
people
take
live their life,
attitude.
yeah.
You know what I mean? All the guys in
That is definitely
Area
some-
Effect and Manchester lot from them days. As soon as we linked up, then it was just fun.
Vibes,
you know what I mean?
yeah, I think the first bands we played were obviously Area Effect, big up to our brothers, Canvas, Blood Green, Vengeance of Gaia, Withdrawn. Can you remember any others? The Voorhees, they're from Durham, aren't they?
Yeah, Voorhees.
And then we,
Everyone should know the Voorhees.
oh
different
yeah, of
leagues,
course,
innit?
man. Yeah, the
what I mean?
legends, man.
Paved the way.
Paved the way, but that's basically
Lecky's
how we
band.
met all them. Yeah, Lecky's. That's how
He
we
sang
became
for
friends with all
Withdrawn
them.
afterwards as well.
Do you remember you used to do the festival down there? Was it the Speakeasy Club?
Yeah, it's like
That-
a snooker hall, and downstairs they had the show. That's
that-
where Indecision played at that festival at the time.
Yeah, Indecision used to
all
play in
there.
London a lot back then. They used to play the UK a lot. They were one of the first underground American hardcore bands that I would say used to play the UK a lot. Am I right in saying that? Would you say, Pierre?
Yeah. I mean, Household Name were really pushing them as well, you know what I mean, with releases and stuff, so they had that back in here already, and it just seemed natural, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And good band as well.
What was that other spot that we played? What's that spot in Manchester that we played? The up the stairs. I can't remember the...
Manchester? Oh, what? The...
You used to go... I think it's still open now. Yeah. It closed down. You used to have loads of amazing hardcore shows there.
What? Star and
Garter, of course,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
My brain, see. I remember a funny story. We played the Star and Garter. And like I was loading out, and all I heard was like bang, bang, bang. I'm like, what the fuck's this? I turned around and Pierre's like kicking some geezer's car window in. Do you remember this? In the car park.
No.
You basically don't remember.
What?
Yeah. You basically don't remember.
I like this reaction.
I love these ones. I love it.
He would never remember. He was kicking some geezer's car window in with the geezer was in the car. And it was something that had been said before, or something you had beef with someone.
You sure it was me?
It was 100% you, because I remember it transpiring that it was the wrong person. You can't remember this?
No.
We'll move on. So let's so anyway, you start putting on your own shows, man. Let's talk about Damage Control, man.
Yeah, Damage Control. It just seemed natural to do a festival because obviously Knockers I started playing more. I was promoting bands with Time for Some Action newsletter, so I was making all these contacts with bands around the country. So I figured I'd just invite them all to London on the same day, and we'd do an all-day festival. And yeah, it just seemed to work out.
No, it was. I mean, what venue? What
the
venue?
Standard in Walthamstow. We did our first one, and it was a mix of like hardcore, metalcore, some oi, punk. You know, we'd mix it up just with. Because yeah, there weren't really a big scene back then anyway.
No, there weren't.
You know,
I think that was one of the first gigs I ever went to. Proper hardcore.
Was you at the Damage Control? The first ever one
at the Standard?
Walthamstow.
Was it like Area Effect or Solution 151 or something like that played? And
I think Solution 151 was I played in New Cross. I don't remember them playing there, but maybe.
Don't know, man. Oh,
a later edition.
Played.
Yeah, Gundog, Freebase.
Yeah,
Area Effect.
yeah.
Withdrawn probably.
What's the one with Sub-Zero? Didn't Sub-Zero play?
Oh yeah,
Rikers.
I put on the Rikers and Sub-Zero show, and I figured fuck it, I'd just try it at the Standard, even though it's nowhere near Central. You know what I mean? It's in Tottenham, innit? Walthamstow up that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, people came out. The place was rammed, didn't it?
Rammed. I remember that, man. That was like, I think that was the first one of my favourite shows from back in the day.
Yeah, it was a sick show.
But going back to Damage Control, I was talking to Tom Cartel, Drop Set, big up to Tom, and he was talking about going to Damage Control, and he always reminds me about you had an interlude in the middle of the day, and you brought the TV out, and you was playing the New York hardcore documentary.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's pretty sick.
I think that documentary was a game changer.
I didn't have the documentary. I had the trailer for the documentary on a VHS video. It was only like a couple of minutes long or something. But yeah, I just took my TV and the video player down and we just plugged it in because I figured that, you know, while we're at the festival, other people might want to see it. And I just played it for everyone, and yeah, everyone seemed to like it, you know. I mean, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I was trying to say something real quick about that documentary. I bought it on VHS around, I think, 06 from All Ages. And I got him and put it in. And
game changer.
Oh man, like even now thinking about watching it back then, I mean obviously it's been out for more than 10 years, so this mid-2000s, but I fucking watched that over and over and over and over and over and over again. For me, still, it's probably one of the best documentaries of that time.
It is the best. For me, it is the best.
It's definitive. Obviously, there's one particular individual who features predominantly in it, who's now a bit, well, not a bit, he is whacked out, but can't take away what he did for this scene back then and shit. But just the different vibes of like talking about the Krishna stuff with 108 and then Freddie's stuff, and obviously with Rick and then District 9. It's on YouTube, so if you haven't seen it, check it out. But
see, because when I was younger and that, I was into every band that was on that documentary, and then this documentary comes out with all those bands on it. And I was just like, and especially from that era as well, a lot of Coney Island High stuff, which I've never been to or nothing, but you know, it's a legendary spot out there for that, from that era. And yeah, every band kills it on that.
So I've got to say this, I'm surrounded by the weed spots.
That interview with Cesar is one of the funniest.
That's why.
And the other one when he's when when Puerto Rico Mike goes, I'm a, what do you say? I'm a sanitation officer or something like that.
You're a garbage
nigga, you're a garbage truck driver. I love it, man.
But I would say that's where, like I said, that was a game changer in terms of the London scene, at least, because I think after that documentary dropped, that's when everyone started
violent dancing. Then people clocked the violent dancing in it, and we were dancing violently as well, but it wasn't that big. Yeah, I guess
so. That's
not that way.
That's basically like Desolated Death by My Side for that your generation. You see this documentary, and it's like a whole thing, sort of like.
We're like, wow, did you
that
see?
Was like spot on that era of New York hardcore as well. The underground there that produced so many fucking sick bands that, you know what I mean, it's a lot still going now. And
that era is like hip hop. That is definitely, there's obviously different ages of hardcore, early 80s, 90s or whatever, but
shit was just raw.
90s hip hop and 90s
everything was unique as well, in a way, you know what I mean? Even though they all sounded like hardcore, but they all had their own sound of hardcore.
Fahrenheit 451 sounds different to like what's it called, to Marble, and then Marble sounds different to District 9, and Crown of Thorns were doing their own thing, like, and then you had your older school shit different as well, vibes. So
that's kind of like what inspires us in what we do in Rucktion as well. Like when we work with bands, and a lot of them obviously are family, but you can't say that any two bands on Rucktion sound the same.
No, they don't. They
are distinct in their own way. At the
same time, obviously, we're going to talk a little bit more about Rucktion, but unfairly, I think Rucktion gets pigeonholed into that beatdown type fucking label and shit, like, which I don't think is fair, because there are some different sounding bands on Rucktion that, especially from the early days when you put stuff out, obviously. You done Area Effects come out on Rucktion, isn't it? The first one, is that right? Yeah. So obviously they're not a fucking beatdown band. Taking Names were not a fucking beatdown band. They were heavy. Death Skulls weren't the fucking beatdown band. But in a lot of people's minds, Rucktion's like that heavy beatdown type label. But I don't know.
Let's talk about it. We're here now with Rucktion, man. So we've got Pops on the mic. Like, was you were involved with Rucktion from the start, though, was you? How did Rucktion come about? Let's go right back to the beginning.
I started Rucktion.
Yeah.
Like last Pierre, innit? And then I came in. I only came in London 96, innit? I was there for 1 year as a student.
Okay, yeah.
That's when I met Pierre.
How did you and Pierre meet?
Blue
Oyster Bar.
Well, I came from Marseille, from the south of France. And the thing is, it was very hard. There was no internet. There was nothing. I didn't know anyone. It was very hard to find out about shows. So you could find out about big hardcore shows, you know, the big bands or whatever, or so-called hardcore bands, you know, they were not really hardcore bands. But it was impossible to find out about the DIY stuff, and that's what was my mission, you know. I left Marseille, all the skinheads down there, you know, they had played me the Knuckledust demo, and they said, you got to find this band, you know.
Yeah, we had a lot of good friends in Marseille, man.
So, yeah, I was just going to record shops, talking to anybody who might look like they might be into hardcore, or going to, I don't know, everywhere, and found a few shows, find Knuckledust, and yeah.
And that's how you guys became friends.
See you in Wilston.
Yeah, that's when I came back in 2000. Yeah. That's when the whole link between me and the PeLBU started. 2000. Yeah.
Okay, so Pierre, how did Rucktion start then? Talk us through it. So we're swapping mics around there everywhere.
Rucktion, I guess it all started off with Black Up Records, which was basically
Brandon.
Kind of sparked after that Warzone show when we met up with the 9 Bar boys for the first time, and obviously we made that connection, and they were into like arts and stuff, and obviously started 9 Bar as well soon afterwards. So we had that connection with the music and the art, and we just wanted to put out releases. So we put out the Knuckledust Area Effect split 7-inch on Black Up Records, and that kind of morphed into Rucktion Records afterwards, because there's all the same people involved, but I don't know, Rucktion just something that I guess I kind of made up, but it just seemed to fit the whole thing.
No, I like it, man.
It's definitely a unique thing, man, and it's kind of mad that something that started out so small and as an idea in your mind, and obviously amongst other people, is still as it is. Because, not being funny, you can walk down the street like and see least one person wearing like a Rucktion hoodie or a Rucktion, even random people sometimes you see.
for real.
And I'll say it's my sister as well. My younger sister, she loves the fucking Rucktion logo. She loves it. She's like, this is a fucking iconic. Oh shit. At Readyfest, some girl, she used to come to shows in the 90s, Asian chick, she bought like a Rucktion jumper or something. She's friends with my sister, like they were friends with some app on Instagram or some shit. And she was like, do you know this girl? And I was like, yeah, she was at the fucking show last week. So yeah, you see how mad it is, like someone who has got a Rucktion shirt. My sister doesn't know anything about hardcore pop. She knows I'm into it, but her friend's got this Rucktion shirt. She's like, oh, my brother, he knows about this Rucktion. A bit like, see what I'm saying? Like, this shit reaches far, like, and if enough people see a logo like this, they know, like, yo, that's fucking Rucktion.
That's illy, man.
It's big, man.
Yeah, so like, what was the first release on Rucktion, and when did Pop start getting involved? And talk us through it, man.
It was obviously the guys in 9 Bar, myself, and originally, after meeting Poppy and noticing that he was doing his own distro, Special Brew Records.
Right.
So we figured he'd have a bit more knowledge about this.
I put oil in it. Yeah. We need a name, guys. Well, oh yeah, special. Yeah, that's quite dope. You're gone.
So yeah, obviously he had that knowledge of like distribution and had contacts for distributing records and stuff. So we figured, yeah, it'd be handy to have him on board, you know, with his knowledge. And yeah, that was it. That was the team. And we started putting out CDs. We must have put out 63 CDs now. So it's not really that many in the space of time we've been around, but we just focus mainly on family bands, to be honest.
Yeah. Bands that you feel like don't get a chance, or bands that you see something.
It's not really a rule, but I mean, obviously we've got a lot of friends that are growing up with us now, and they're all playing bands, and then now and again they start other bands. So if anything, we like to help them out first, because we know how hard it was when we were first starting out to find someone to back you and that.
Yeah, for real.
And at least, you know, like we used to say, helping bands to help themselves. And then we'll just help promote it, push our bands out there, because Rucktion band's got their own vibe, really, you know what I mean? It's got its own sound, which is recognised now, so.
I wanted to ask you guys, because obviously you've been doing it for a very long time. When you first started and you printed a CD, was it quite easy? Was it easier to distribute your CD because there was a lot more distros? Like, for instance, if you go to a show now, you'll see a distro table. There'll be 3 people there. Distro table 1 will be selling the band merch only. Distro table 2 will be selling their band merch only. You won't see them selling CDs from loads of different people or T-shirts from loads of different bands. Back in the day, it used to be like Camden Market, the distro, didn't it? It was just, you go there, you could spend an hour at the distro table looking at CDs. The guy behind the distro table will say, oh yeah, what you into? I'm into this. Oh shit, check this band out.
I think some of that might probably have something to do with the time, because obviously mail order was a thing, but it's expensive and you don't know if you're going to get your shit that's going to come through the post. Whereas when you got your bigger shows, I mean, I'm speculating, I wasn't around at the time, but when you got your bigger shows and there's all this distro, like, this guy's got all this shit from France or from this part of Germany, or it's got American stuff or Asian shit, it's the only time you're going to get that. So,
but we never used to see that. The first time I saw that was when I went to Belgium with Stamping Ground for some festivals, and they used to take us out there, and I'll be hanging out, but there'd be like tables and tables of CDs and stuff. You go through it, and everything you could ever imagine or ever want as a kid would be there. Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like,
it'd be big.
We didn't have that in the UK.
Vast fucking collections of fucking stuff, man.
I mean,
no, we never had that.
No, in the 90s, I remember when I first came to my first shows, you know, in London. It's what we were saying, you know, it was just a man with a few cassette CDs, a couple of T-shirts, but there was a few small distros just like mine, innit? People were not surprised, you know, when I brought my distro to see man's selling other bands, not just your band or your mates, but yeah, like Pierre said, from various countries and all that. But when I took over, I guess 2001, when I can't remember who it was, and someone said, oh, like Poppy's like distributing all our stuff, he's doing the merch at all our shows, and we might as well combine his distro with Rucktion and all that. And it wasn't that easy to distribute your stuff, you know.
Oh, it wasn't.
There was barely no internet.
Yeah.
People were eager to find out about new bands, but there was lots of unknown bands, you know, like they didn't know if it was some crap demo from God knows what country, or if it was some great thing. So, but if someone was from Berlin, maybe, or Belgium, New York, whatever, American bands, or they might be interested, and I started. But after a few years, thanks to the internet and the hardcore scene being more global and getting bigger, yeah, it started to get much easier. And for years, distributors got in touch and
just kicks off from there, I guess, innit? Like,
so what you're saying is actually easier now to distribute CDs than it was, because I thought back.
Not anymore. It's been waves, you know.
Because
it's like skateboarding or certain underground music scenes, you know.
Yeah.
For a few years, 5 years, you get your peak, you know, and it sort of peaks, and then you get all that attention and all that distribution. Even money's coming in, so you can help all your bands and all that. And then a few years later, it dies down for whatever reason. But now with the internet, most distributors have just given up on us.
I think, as he just mentioned, in terms of like trends and things peaking, and I think at the moment, currently, the thing that is coming to a sort of decline is the reunion. The reunion was the thing that's big in hardcore at the moment. Like, if we're talking about trends and peaks and stuff, the reunion was big. Now I can see the reunion is getting, like, people ain't fucking with it anymore. But that's just a little side note.
We've seen it all in it, ups and downs in the last 25 years in hardcore punk, whatever.
I don't think enough people most probably say it to you, but I got mad respect for you, like, for being involved in the distribution at shows, and because, like I said, you don't really see it that much no more, and it's quite a lot of hard work lifting all that gear around from show to show and having to sell it.
A lot of work.
Do you know what? Let's be real, like, fucking standing behind somewhere for like hours on end, and at a show, you want to just go and enjoy yourself and get drunk and get pissed and go and march at the front or stand there, whatever. So to be able to just be at the distro and man it and take care of the things, and have to put up with other people's bullshit and hold this for me, have you got this, have you got that, and whatnot. So yeah, respect
being
you,
the fucking cloakroom at the venue.
You want to hear a fucking story about cloakroom at the fucking venue?
Give it
just
to
real
us,
quick,
Louis.
yeah.
Give it to us.
I was at that World of Pain show a couple of weeks ago at the New Cross Inn, and at Ready Fest, there was some girl who came to the show. Like, she's been to a couple of shows, but I've never really seen her often. But yeah, some girl came to the show, and she was like, "Oh, can you hold my jacket just behind it?" I was like, "Yeah, cool, no problem." Just as we are, put my jacket behind the show at Ready Fest. A few weeks later now, we're at World of Pain show, and I see him. I was like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" She was like, "Oh, how's it going?" She was like, "I need to say something, and please don't be offended when I say this shit." And I was like, "Oh, what's the matter?"
You're black. Sorry.
She was like, "Yeah, you know that day when I gave you my jacket?" Like, and I was like, "Yeah, when I was at the distro." Yeah, she's like, "I saw you get up on the stage afterwards, and I was really shocked because I thought you was the cloakroom fucking guy."
Holy shit! Yeah, because you're black.
So
I told you.
Yeah, I got profiled, man. I normally profile people, but I got profiled this time, so yeah.
That's funny.
But anyway, that's a little story for that, like, yeah, in that little segue.
Cool, man. So, Pierre, I want to ask you, man. You've been on the stage a long time, man. What's some of your? You got any funny moments on stage, or any of your craziest moments on stage?
I saw a video.
I
saw a video a couple of weeks that looks a bit crazy.
Tell us.
Mate.
What was it?
I know what you were talking about.
I'm never mentioning it.
When I got food poisoning in France.
Tell us about it. Go on. What happened?
We were in France, innit, and we had a show somewhere, and we had a barbecue, and then the day after, I was feeling a bit rough, and it's all day the day after, innit. So I'm backstage before we played, and I felt like puking. So I just spewed in the bucket there in the backstage thing, and then I felt alright after that. So I drank 2-litre bottle of water, just downed it all before we went on stage. And went on stage, started performing, and I was feeling alright. And then all of a sudden, my stomach starts twisting, mate. I was just like, oh, you know, when you start dry heaving and that, and you know what I mean? You can feel it's coming. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I can't prevent this now, because like I might as well try and aim for someone. Innit? One of these dudes at the front that's dancing, I'm going to try and puke on him. Innit? The least I can do to take the attention off me. And then it just came out. I just started puking all over the stage. Like, it was all liquid water though, because I drank that 2-litre bottle of water and I had nothing else in my stomach because I already got rid of everything. And it just flooded the stage though, because it was 2 litres, like, all in front of Nicky and Waymer and that.
All over your pedals.
Everything, mate. I just couldn't stop heaving.
I just see Nicky was just laughing like. He was just fucking cracking up, and I was like, yeah.
What happened with we've got a famous incident, Pastorgate.
Pastorgate.
Well, Raymond saved your life. What happened with that one?
That was one time we were in, I think it was Belgium somewhere. And yeah, it was after. No, we were late to the gig, innit? So we turned up and they had some food backstage and I was hungry, so I ate all this pasta and I just scoffed it down, and then we went on stage and played. And then after, when we come off stage, we were just hanging out and people wanted to do a band photo with all the bands there in front of the stage. So I just come back in after blazing the suit and that, and I just chucked a whitey basically, and I must have fell backwards, and I was just like, yeah, trying to puke, but I couldn't puke because I was laying on my back. So,
no, you did puke, man, because
that was only when Ray rolled me over.
Fuck me, you nearly done a fucking Hendrix.
So basically, you fell down, and then all this pasta started flicking out, coming out of his mouth like a fucking waterfall, man.
It's like a fountain of pasta because I ate it so fast, it all come out fully formed.
You know what? I was laughing. I was
like Exorcist, basically.
Yeah.
It was like Exorcist, and I was laughing, going, "What's this?" I thought he was fucking about, and then Ray like kind of realised, no, he's actually like he was puking, like it was just.
He's having a tagliatelle fit.
Do you know what it's like? Team America, you know?
Oh, what? When he go, he's giving him a light.
That's what it was like.
So then Ray turns him over, he puts him in the recovery position, and he just kind of...
Yeah, he rolled me over, I puked up, but then I got up again, and then carried on.
You know what? Pierre's the weirdest person when he's sick, right? It'd be all like, oh, I'm sick, and then he'll puke, and then he'll just be back to normal.
Yeah, all right. What's up?
It just like...
So, where we go?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to puke, innit? It's something bad,
Yeah.
When you're travelling around a lot.
Done. Walk away.
Like nothing happened.
Sometimes you eat some shit food, innit? And it fucks you up, innit? You just got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
What happened to that time when I can't remember, we was playing a festival somewhere and we're playing and the vocals just stopped? I'm like, what's this guy doing, man? And you're like, literally I turned around and you was nowhere on the stage and you'd actually fallen off the stage, innit?
What's this? Half an hour of taking this out of me or something? Going through all my worst moments in life.
This is like, this is like the
He's been saving this up for 20 years.
You're telling me no one's fallen off a stage before, being in a hardcore band. You're telling me no one's been hit in the head with a guitar.
This week you got to turn
millions of times being in a hardcore band.
If it makes you feel better, when we done the interview with Freddie Madball, he talked about falling off the stage at Dynamo Fest in front of 100,000 people, so you're alright, don't worry.
Everyone but us. Straight from the heart of London.
Obviously, everyone knows you from Knuckledust, man, but we can't not talk about your other bands, man. Do you want to talk about, what was your first band you formed after Knuckledust? Maldito?
I think BDF come first, innit?
The BDF. What year was BDF? So, Steve?
2000, I think.
Do you want to give us a brief? You want to talk us through that? How that all came about?
I can't fucking remember.
You know where it was? It was that era when the club scene was back in a lot of hardcore stuff. They were playing a lot of hardcore stuff in their clubs and that. And obviously there was the underground scene as well, which was coming up as well at the era where Biohazard first come out and Sick of It All was coming over doing big things. And from that moment, I think between the members of BDF, we kind of combined the club scene side of things and the hardcore scene side of things.
Did you manage to troll a lot of the people in those scenes, like the metal guys? Because they probably really liked you, but they hated you because it was all the violent dancing and all that shit as well.
Oh no, they loved it too.
They loved it as well.
Yeah, they were all on it, mate. Yeah, back then.
Yeah. All the club lot.
That's why they loved it.
You know, as well. Yeah, it's mad.
Oh, that's fucking
and same
mad.
with the Hulk, because Beat Down Fury was already taking a piss in it with a name like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is it like to try and troll these mans? Like
it was just pure piss take. You know what I mean?
It was. Do you know the first thing? I think it was about 99. We did a rehearsal at Mill Hill, but it weren't with Andy or Pete. It was with like Ray was on drums, and I think was it Ollie or someone was going to come and play bass or guitar or something. I was doing bass, and this other geezer, Graham from Area Effects.
Oh yeah, now I remember.
Like one of them where you had the first rehearsal and you're like, it's not clicking.
We didn't really know where we're going with it.
So you had to come back and rework it. Like.
Yeah, I think Andy and Pete maybe were doing something else, or they were like talking about doing something else, and then I didn't hear anything for a while. Because
Andy was like the first person I lived with when I was younger and I moved out of home. We used to share a flat, and obviously you know what he's like. Well, maybe you don't know what he's like. He's like a mad metal dude,
long hair.
Who's how can I say?
Metal guy.
He's a funny guy, man. Yeah, I love the dude. We had some
Just
good
leave it at
times.
that. He's a funny guy.
Yeah. So we just kind of combined different elements that, you know what I mean, it just made sense at the time. Met Ali. Ali was an inventive drummer, so it just all kind of made sense.
It just kind of worked, didn't it? It all just kind of clicked into place, and then you released. What did you release? You released
First Family, but before that we done the demo, Killer for the Skrilla, and then we done the second one, which was Skrilla for the Killer, innit?
Yeah. And then we did another one
stupid.
after that, which we called Anthology, because we put the first demo on it as well. But nobody ever really knows about that one, because we never played them tunes live.
Oh, right, okay.
There was fucking hell, The Comeback and tunes like that. We played like a few times, but it weren't really our best work. And then we done First Family straight after.
Who did most of the music? Was it Andy?
Andy, yeah.
Andy
was a beast on guitar,
he was
man.
a beast. He used to sleep with his guitar, man.
He used to play that thing all the time. He would practice all the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Living with him, he was just into the music big time. Fucking, talented dude.
Yeah, the unique writing, that the riffs are fucking mad, man.
I need to. I know obviously before you talk about Pierre's other bands that he started, but I want to just quickly mention First Family, the release. What label did it come out on? Is it officially a Rucktion label or is it not? Yeah. Yes, it is.
Controversial.
Yeah, it's Rucktion.
I think the band funded it themselves, if I remember rightly, or Andy more than likely.
Put the logo on it and I took care of distribution for Rucktion.
Yeah, I think there's only like 500 copies of that. So we
all gone now. Yeah,
we got repressed.
Oh yeah.
Did we do 1,000 then? For some reason, I think it was 500. I know normally we done 1,000 at a time there. Yeah, it was an odd number or something.
Well, I remember when I bought it and I put it in, and then it started off with the woman doing the vocals, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
So you got to remember me for the first time. I don't know anything about BDF. Like, I just see Pierre's on the front, and I'm like, all right, cool. So it's obviously got Pierre on it, so it must be fucking something decent. Then I put it in, and I heard that, and I was like, all right, carry on. And then all you lot in the background doing,
I didn't have a sex change.
Yeah, then all you lot in the background doing your thing, and then the music just started, and then it just went into this explosive sort of like, just the maddest metal fucking shit that you could just think of, like technically really good, but all over the fucking place at the same time. When I mean all over, don't say it in a horrible way. Like, it was eclectic, man. It was fucking different. It's different, mate. It's fucking different.
So what came after BDF? What was next?
We did Maldito, didn't we, Steve?
That's right, yeah.
So Steve was involved in that again.
Most of it was just like me just sitting there while everybody else smoked weed.
Now, Maldito was like in sync, in it. You had about 8 different.
Maldito had
how many bloody people with it?
About 8 or 9 members.
Maldito was the first Mexican cartel hardcore band, isn't it?
At the time, though, it was like I was in BDF doing Knuckledust. So practice is getting expensive now, you see.
Yeah,
so I figured, if we want to do another band, then we better have like loads of members, because then it works out at 50p each to pay for the practice.
£2 fucking practice.
Who were the members, man? Let's shout them out quickly. Who was it?
The original members. It was
Was it Rocky?
Rocky.
Shout out Rocky, 17 Stitches.
It was 17 Stitches, man's in it.
So Rocky, Simon,
Gibbons, yeah. And all the vocalists I invited were like people that I kind of rated as well, like Fatty, Aldito,
DBS.
Well, I don't know, man. Them days, everyone used to smoke a lot.
So what did you release from Aldito then?
We didn't release nothing officially. We kind of recorded this demo, but the geezer that recorded it got drunk in it, so it didn't really come out that good. Yeah, and it's floating around, but you know what I mean. Obviously, it's a bit unfinished. And we're talking about maybe re-recording it or something.
You wanted to be
like those songs, you know.
You wanted to do a video for one of the songs, wasn't it?
It's like,
for Poor Sempre, yeah, we had some we still got some sick ideas for that, we got some ideas.
We talk about that.
Has anyone got a coffin that they're selling? Like,
I wrote that song a long time ago, man. But yeah, it just works on that song, innit?
Yeah, it sounds like
if anyone's got a casket for sale, for cheap, let us know.
We got them. I want to make the music video for that song.
Yeah,
you know, the man's getting buried and that, and everyone, instead of throwing dirt into the grave, they're throwing like lumps of weed and stuff. Fatty can be the priest and that, innit? on a pulpit and that, singing his bits.
Where my time goes,
we'll live forever.
That'd be sick.
When my time comes, bury me in my
The only thing for that is I just want to see the YouTube comments, man, because that's like a video like that would just be YouTube
it'd be funny,
fucking
man.
jokes, man.
Because people will watch it and they, people take things too seriously.
Yeah, of course, like,
oh, what's this? What's this ain't metal?
Yeah, but you can't take that seriously at all, man.
Yeah.
This man's getting buried with weed and shit. It's like,
that was the thing, though. A lot of people took it really serious, man. Like, a lot of people fell for BDF in that sense. Obviously, like, we were putting effort into writing and, like, trying to do good tunes and whatever, but, like, at the same time, a lot of people really thought we were seriously singing, like, about definitely murdering people. It's like, come on.
I think it's a uniquely British, London sort of type for people who are not British but are Londoners and stuff like, or just UK people, that we've got a very sort of like dark sense of humour, but also very sort of humorous shit as well. Like, not everything has to be super serious, innit? Like, but
it's definitely English humour.
Yeah.
Into it.
Monty Python.
obviously, it's beatdown music, which is extreme, and we're taking the piss out of ourselves as much as the genre in a way by calling the band Beatdown Fury for a start.
Look at
the lyrics.
Steve Skip.
When my time comes, no, that's my idea.
And Steve Skip, when he goes, "Good day, my name." That, like, when I heard that for the first time, I was like,
I've got to be honest, I can't listen to that no more. I was just like,
oh yeah, obviously, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, obviously, because you recorded it. What do you think? There's stuff that I've recorded that I've like listened to and going, oh god.
The thing is, when you're younger and you think shit like that is funny, and we all thought it was a good idea at the time, and then you listen years later and you're like,
that's because you're an old man now.
You're an old man.
There was something different as well, because we didn't know what we were doing for a start, and then we were just trying different things, and that's what I like. That's why I do two bands most of the time, because then I got Knuckledust, which is it's got its own way of doing things, and I can respect that. But then I like to try some other stuff as well, which I know wouldn't suit Knuckledust so much, maybe.
Basically, basically, Ray going, "You're not fucking doing that."
We've had plenty of that.
We're not doing that.
This is Spanish.
like putting transformer noises in tunes and stuff. You get me? It wouldn't go down in Knuckledust. But some people allow me to do that.
Talking to Igor in here, cut that bit out.
So what's that? What was the band off that? Bun Them Out, right?
Yeah, Bun Them Out.
Which is which currently planned, just released a split.
Bun Them Out's doing alright, yeah.
Yeah, Bun Them Out's doing very well. I mean, how did that start? That was Charlie from TRC originally on guitar, wasn't it? Or
young Charlie, we linked up. We wanted to start a band, so we got some people together. There was the drummer from Lost Sight. He was a real young dude and that, but good drummer, man. So he worked really well with Charlie. When they got together, then they started putting some tunes together, man. And that's when I realised, these young boys, they got a good vibe going. You know what I mean?
These young boys,
they were younger than me, man. That was the thing.
Just saying, Lost Sight was Mike's band as well, wasn't it? Just so people know.
My brother, Peruvian Mike, Big Mike.
Yes,
that was his band. And back then, even when his drummer was even younger, this dude must have looked like he was about 11 or something, man, on stage, because he was quite small as well. Anyway, small build and that, but he looked really young, man. And coming to shows and drumming and that, so and they were good. Lost Sight were good. The shows that they played, they had a good vibe going.
Saw them.
Big Mike's the wicked vocalist.
Just heard the one track that was on the Rucktion compilation stuff for some Rucktion.
That's the thing I've always said, man. I wish Mike would have done more music, because his vocals were some of the fucking best out there, in my opinion. The stuff that he done on the Maldito demo as well, I was just like, fuck, man, Mike.
Yeah, he's got a unique voice, like.
Yeah,
he sounded different. Yeah, definitely sounded different.
Yeah, big up Mike.
Yeah, so Bun Them Out, like, so you got together. What was the first release? Talk us through the releases.
We done demo first. We recorded ourselves. The world knew we arrived after that, so we just started pushing it, doing a lot of shows, and then we done the release for Rucktion, the self-titled. 2007 was it?
Oh, I've got a story about that as well, man.
Yeah, recorded at Crow's Nest Studio, and that's been received really well, man. We've got a lot of support and attention from South America and all over the world, to be honest. But since I started pushing that more of a mixture between English and Spanish in certain songs and stuff, then people are realising that I'm actually Latino myself and I'm Peruvian, so we're getting a lot of support for Rucktion from South America these days, and the scene's really strong over there. There's a lot of bands coming up, a lot of good contacts, so everybody check out the scene out there.
So Bunda Matt, you just released a split, right, with Easy Money.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
You released some 2 hard tunes, man, really hard tunes.
Yeah, we haven't released anything for a while. We got Dave McBoo, who he done a little bit of time drumming for BDF, to be honest, and he's in a lot of other bands. He's
played for every band at some point, like helped out. Or,
McBoo was in 6 Foot Ditch, 50 Caliber. Bunda Matt.
He's helped out with Knuckledust as well.
Helped with Knuckledust, helped with 9 Bar, he's helped with Injury Time. He's vocalist in Ironed Out. He done a stint with Shwaddy Waddy. Celine Dion, who's doing backing dancing for them, bro. Chaz and Dave.
Though. He's
he's multi-talented, man.
Yeah.
He's multi-talented.
Yeah, he's a talented dude, man. So, like, yeah, you see, so what's the next? You're doing another split, right? Are we allowed to talk about the splits that BDF? Not BDF, fuck me. Bun them out. I've got coming. Are we allowed to talk about them? Or are they secrets? You got a few more things in the works,
right? Nothing to hide. Yeah. The next release is going to be a split with Enemy Mind.
Oh shit!
Enemy are hard, man.
They're going to do some 3 tracks each.
Some PGH fucking beat down Pittsburgh style.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh bands is like they bring some heavy fucking shit, man.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now, it's coming back now as well, like with them, and then it's like Eternal Sleep. They play a lot of shit. They've been playing on some shows recently.
Yeah.
And then now you got Face Wreck, who's out in Pittsburgh, and obviously back in the day, Built Upon Frustration and all the other bands that like, and then No Retreat. Yeah, man. So just them, just Enemy Mind and Bunda Matt, and obviously we recently had Easy Money who came over, who had done a split with Bunda Matt, which is out on Rucktion Records.
Money, available to download. Be able to meet them finally. I didn't catch them on the last stint of the last time they came to the UK, but managed to meet up with them. We played with them in New Cross a couple of weeks ago. Good kids, man.
I gotta say, man, like
Generals in
you saw them in it. Yeah. It was fucking wicked, man.
Lots of energy, lots of energy, man.
It was fucking wicked, like.
Yeah. I lost my shit, mate. I come out of Mosh retirement.
Yeah, I see you. I was like, I see you. I said, man, it's like, Pierre, he's fucking dancing, like. It like the way they were playing, like, felt like it was. I felt like I was back in mid 2000s watching a Rucktion band with that fucking vibe. For me,
it had that vibe.
That vibe, like there's something that you can tell they're into the bands that of like our generation of bands and that.
Yeah.
Like the biggest influence that I could see in that band is District 9. There's just something about their groove and how they do things. It's not just listen to a hardcore band. It's like, oh, these mans like Caribbean food and shit. Like these mans like pinto beans. He's like fucking, you know what I mean? There's a flavour, and there's a vibe to their shit. And I'm like, yo, I fucking love this shit. So big up Easy Money, man. Oh, and Billy Club as well. Yes, Billy Club as well. Yeah, and Billy Club.
Breakdowns and
That's a shit. Actually, that's a good shot as well. And I know they like pinto beans and fucking bodegas and shit. So yeah,
maybe do backflips.
Lose more teeth, man. Watch out, man.
I know, mate.
Cool.
So yeah, that's obviously some good bands and on breaking out on Horizon, doing their own thing, doing their own vibe. So that's good.
No, it's a good link up, man. You know, it just seemed natural. These guys, like, they work hard as well. So it's nice to have the opportunity to do this release together and play together. Definitely, everyone needs to support them. But yeah, then we're gonna do the Enemy Mind split, and I linked up with them last year for a tune, not physically but over the internet. We done a tune and made a good connection with these guys over there, so they're going to be coming to the UK early next year.
Everyone but us, straight from the heart of London.
Hello, good afternoon, is that Popi Rucktion speaking?
Yes.
Hello, Popi Rucktion. This is Lord Lewis from Beckton. I hear there is a new release out on Rucktion Records, is that correct?
That's correct.
And that record is called Last Orders Hardcore, is that right?
Yeah, split with Postal.
And how much is this record?
£5 on CD.
And where can you find this record?
Online, at shows, from All Ages Records in Camden.
And of course on Rucktion Records, what's the website address again?
Rucktion.com, or you can go straight to the shop, rucktionmusic.com.
Perfect. Much respect to everyone who's checked out Last Orders, picks up the CD. They're available, as Poppy just mentioned, on rucktionmusic.com. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff, and just support us. Even if you don't want to buy a CD, We've got downloads available on Bandcamp, and we'll be up on Spotify and everything else soon. But any support, any shares, anything like that is much and well and truly appreciated.
Go do that.
So thank you very much. So now we're gonna go into this little segue where we're gonna have some questions that we've asked. We actually basically went online and asked some people that obviously we're going to be interviewing Pierre, and if anyone wants to ask any questions, now will be the time to ask them. And some people have definitely written into us, quite a few people. So shall I start with me? Yeah, I'll start with the first one.
I got one here.
You got one there? Which one are you going to go with? You go first, mate.
What's
You
it
go.
like having the smallest penis in the world?
Who, me? Oh.
Yeah.
I was about to say, because that's definitely not a question. That's definitely not a question for me. Like, just saying, you know, the brothers.
Poppy's got the mic.
Poppy's fighting to give the mic. Poppy's fighting to give the mic back to him.
Go through, Pops. Go through.
Go ahead. And
No, the real question was, this question is from our good friends in Wisdom in Chains. You know about their hands, and obviously check out their podcast, the Post America podcast. So anyway, the question is, during all these years with the same lineup in KD, Pierre, have you had any serious issues with any of your other members in the band? And if so, how did you overcome these issues and continue on with the band?
Answer this question carefully.
Yes, because there is one of the band members sitting here with us.
I find electrocution usually works pretty well after every tour. Wire yourself up to a battery. No, man, we don't really argue in that, you know. Everyone's pretty easy going in a band. Yeah, sometimes you get stressed and, you know, things happen, but I can't say I've ever had a fight with any of my brothers in a band, and it's never always 100% jokes whenever we get together and whenever we go around, play gigs. Even when the shit turns ugly, then it's still fucking funny when I'm in the company of these guys, you know what I mean? So I'm sure you know exactly what I mean, being in bands with some of them.
Yeah, I want to add one thing onto that quickly. What I love about the Knuckledust guys is we could have a disagreement or argue about something, but then the next day it's done. People don't hold on to it. It's just like, that was last night, let's move on. And that's what I love about these guys, man.
Yeah, and that is a good thing. Because, I mean, let's be real, man. You guys have been in the same band for fucking 23 years.
It sounds like a long time, but it's not like we've been like playing every week for 23 years.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it or anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean,
it might be that many years, but if we get together,
if we go through
same.
if we go through all the bands in the hardcore scene that are still currently going out, like, obviously not every band is gonna have the same members, apart from, well, there's not many. Like, the only ones I can think of that have got the same members is E-Town and you guys.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, E-Town. Even E-Town had two guitarists before.
Oh, okay, I didn't know. I've always thought
they've got the original members
yeah.
though, so you are correct there.
So, like, yeah, I mean, obviously with some of the other bigger bands, they still got original members, but then they've come in with other people, but it's obviously worked and they've gone through with it. So, same 4 people in the band. Obviously, you don't play every week, you don't tour all the time, etc., but to still be doing it, like,
no,
respect to you,
it's
like,
a blessing, man. It's a blessing. What's the next question?
The next question went off there. So yeah, that was a question from Wisdom in Chains. Big up those guys. They'll be coming next year playing the Persistence Tour. So make sure you get to one of those shows either in Europe or in our beautiful city, which is fucking London.
What have I done to deserve this?
Beautiful singing women, man.
Those that know,
no one wanted to hear it, but
those that know,
singing.
know.
Exactly. Right. We've already answered this question because yeah, Ray Dust. This is from Ray, another member of Knuckledust. He said, "Is it true that you nearly died and Raymond had to save your life twice?"
We already spoke about this.
Yeah, so I was going to say.
Pastorgate was one, but the second one, I'm not too sure.
Oh, I can't remember, can I? Because I was dead.
He woke up and Ray was giving him a kiss of life.
Fuck no.
Poppy, has Ray ever had to save your life before?
Ray tends to save my life a lot, I must admit.
He's probably might have wanted to take your life a couple of times in the past. Like. Right. What's the next question we've got here? These are all Instagram questions. This one is from breadman73_NXVI.
I think that's Mark from Area Effect, I believe.
Oh, okay, cool.
Big up to Mark. Yeah.
It says, how ill did you get on the Knuckledust Area Effect UK Hardcore Brotherhood Tour?
No, actually, I was one of the only ones that didn't get ill. It was me and Nicky Baxter, because Nicky Baxter was he vegetarian or vegan back then? So he wasn't eating no takeaway food. He wasn't eating nothing, to be honest, back then. And I didn't eat that from that takeaway place that everyone went to. And next day, everybody was puking up, man.
Everyone was
And because
fucked.
me and Nikki were taking buckets to people all day long because they were just puking, and it was not a good scene, mate. And that was like early days into the tour as well.
You still continue the tour though?
Yeah,
Sick, see?
Yeah.
Show must go on, man.
but everyone was ill except for me and Nikki. I remember that.
Right, so thank you, Breadman73. Who we got? Oh, Adam X Rogers here. Adam is the drummer in Mere Mortal, and he's also the drummer in Last Wishes, who are playing the next Rucktion show.
Oh,
on
big up to
December
Last
7th.
Wishes, man.
He's
love
from
it,
Liverpool. Fucking love that city. Anyway, any memories of Liverpool from back in the day? Did you ever play Planet X?
I don't remember Planet X. I remember that one called. Oh, what was it called, man? Oh, I can't remember now. It's on the tip of my tongue.
I remember, didn't we play there with Crutch? Is that Liverpool that time we played with Crutch, and Muggsy ripped the light above the pool table, that long light that
he
dangles
ripped it
from
off.
the chains. I think he ripped that off or something, and this live wire was in the middle of the venue, just going. And then he grabs that wire, he grabs the cable and he just yanks it out of the ceiling. And then
Man.
problem solved. Fucking life. But I was just standing there like, what the fuck, mate?
Yeah, all my memories of Liverpool are definitely with Craw and Muggsy. Any memory of Liverpool is them two are involved in some way.
And going into that question, the next one is from Don. His name's Don Corleone, but this one's from Craw. His question is, Pierre, what does guinea pig taste like?
Tastes good, innit?
Have you actually eaten a guinea pig? Or is this
what is this story?
Or is this a banter thing?
Nah,
You've actually eaten it?
Oh yeah, it's a delicacy in Peru, innit?
It's a Peruvian
Holy shit.
thing, man.
Yeah, what does it taste like then?
I guess it's really like a rabbit without fucking ears, innit?
Oh shit.
If you think about it.
Shark Boobs has got a question that says,
That's Josh Hart, man.
oh, okay.
Just that.
Is that just
Josh,
that?
man.
Just that. It says, what are slag wellies? I know what they are, but yeah, I don't know what they fucking are.
Oh, I don't want to get into that.
You don't want to get into that, yeah?
Slag wellies.
All right, cool.
You know, women with long boots, basically.
No, they're not women with long boots. They're fucking Ugg boots.
Oh, is
Is that
it?
what-
Ugg
is that what it
boots.
is?
Ugg boots.
no, no,
Ugg
no,
boots
no.
are slag wellies, like.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Okay, maybe
Yeah, they are, mate. They
maybe
definitely
got a
are,
different-
like.
Anybody with a view on it out there, let's just take a little bit of a vote.
And it's something to do with condoms or something.
Nah, as far as I know, I always was. Well, I mean, coming from fucking where I'm from, East and that. Yeah, it's not the most PC place, but I always heard slag wellies were Ugg boots. Like,
Nah, I always thought slag willies. You know where girls used to wear the long leather boots, and you used to call them slag willies.
Nah, people used to call them fuck me
they
boots.
used to be called
Oh,
fuck me boots. like,
Yeah, I'm getting mixed up. This is very PC, very PC
I do
podcast.
apologise for this, but
Oh, did it?
it's all, we're all just having a laugh and that. Like, nothing should be taken serious. It's all in jest and shit. All right, before you fucking,
If you don't like it, fuck
before you
off.
before you send the hounds, release the hounds against us.
Yeah.
Right. What's next? In effect, commented on that
Oh wait,
particular one.
In Effect, man. Pierre, how In Effect magazines back in the day, man.
Oh yeah.
That
Big
was the
influence, man.
fucking. But we talk about New York hardcore documentary. Their magazines and that. I used to fucking.
That's how I got into a lot of the bands that were in that documentary. Before that documentary was from In Effect magazine. That used
Big
to
up In Effect
interview-
magazine, man.
Yeah,
Pivotal
interview and
part.
review stuff, and yeah, no, I rated that stuff. You had to send off for that in the post. Now they're online, so log on, check them
Yeah,
out.
check
In
them out,
Effect.
man. Sorry, Lewis.
That's all right, man. You had to say your bit, innit? Next question is from Chaos Rach. This is a good friend of ours, Rach. She's
Did you skip the In Effect question?
Oh shit! Sorry, yeah.
sorry,
Sorry,
go
I
on.
do apologise. Sorry, Chris. Please give us a good review. Last orders.
Available at?
So Chris replied to Josh's comment and said, "I just looked this up on Urban Dictionary. I'm cracking up." And then he's just said afterwards, "For us Americans, the meaning of London black up and also what shark boobs asked too." Yeah. So
What does it say on Urban Dictionary then?
for what slag
For slag
wellies?
wellies?
Okay, I'll check
All
that
right,
after.
so,
Let me look it up.
Yeah, you look
Let
up,
me
Steve.
look it
Yeah.
up.
Next question is from our friend.
No, the
Ray-
LBU question. You got
London
answer
Black
it.
Up.
Yeah.
That's just when we were younger and that. Us and 9 Bar, we used to get together at shows and that, and obviously we'd be smoking all the time. So we just got that name. That, yeah, we're always black up. You know what I mean? These guys over there, they always black up. You know, they're partying, drinking, smoking, da da da. So it kind of stuck in it. So we just called it the LBU in the end, the London Black Up. Just seemed to fit right.
Yeah, the 7-inch that Knuckledust done, was that when you was talking about Brendan's
Black
label,
Up Records.
he used to quit Black Up Records
Before Rucktion. Yeah,
and
that's what we
the
called
London
it.
Black Up got added to it, LBU, and
And then it became like the crew thing and that. And obviously at the time, them mans were pretty active with like.
What was that thing online? What was that?
Shit.
Now, what was that thing online that said what the LBU was? And it was, I never ever read it, but I always see it.
Oh, in Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, what did it say in Urban Dictionary about the LBU?
That were neo-Nazi ninjas or
We are,
something.
aren't we?
Neo-Nazi ninjas.
Gangster rap and
Gangster rap.
Nazis.
Yeah.
At the same time. Drug dealers, God knows. Something about music as well, God knows. But, yeah.
So I've got the definition of slag wellies from the Urban Dictionary.
Oh, go on, give it to us.
Ugg boots.
Oh, shit, man. 1-0 to lose.
This is their words, not mine. Footwear sported by slack-fannied chavbirds with more money than dress sense.
Oh, God.
Also known as slut slippers
Oh, God.
and chav clogs.
Clogs.
Who writes the Urban Dictionary stuff?
Fuck knows.
Is it just random people?
I think it's just random shit. Like
It's like a Wikipedia for
it's
nuts.
a Wikipedia for fucking offensive shit, innit? Like,
Ah, okay.
except it ain't no fucking 4chan nerd shit. Anyway, next question is from my friend Rachel. This one,
We got to Rachel
Yeah,
all the
we
way
got
down
Rach.
under. Ninja Fest. She was involved in.
yeah, she was
involved in Ninja Fest, which is
with
something
May
we need
and
to talk about one
Louise
day.
as well. The question is, which KD member is the worst to tour with and why?
Ooh, it's got to be Raymond, innit? We got a nickname for Raymond. We call it like Jonathan, because and Jonathan's like a bad cloud that just follows him wherever he goes, because he just always finds something to complain about.
He's on an emotional roller coaster. Well, he used to be, not so much nowadays, but yeah.
Nah, he's chilled really.
At the peak of when we were busy and that, then yeah, he was going through a lot of ups and downs in his head.
And then the nickname
It's
Jonathan
fucking
come out.
hilarious. It was hilarious, I'm telling you.
But I think we've all got our faults, man. In
Of course
some,
we
in
have.
some
Like,
way.
I'll be
Not
the
one
first.
particular person.
I'll be
obviously.
the first to admit that
I think it's a strength for you. It just made the whole fucking thing, the whole experience on the road, just so funny.
Yeah, he's funny. Fuck
His
that.
alter ego,
And
Jonathan.
He's got a comedy. He's doing a comedy stand up
Yes, he is.
on the
15th of December in
15th of
Brighton.
December.
Yeah, raising money for a charity, good cause.
for cancer. Yeah. So if you want to support that, if you go to what's his
Well,
bloody-
let's
getting
get
it
the,
right now.
in the,
I'm
in the
doing it right
description,
now.
We'll get the.
yeah, well, look in the
get the link
description,
in there.
and the link will be up for his comedy night. Go and support that.
Yeah, he's been
and
doing
Lewis
stand-up
is-
comedy, innit, Raymond? I don't know if people are aware. He did one show, well, it must have been a couple of years ago now, innit? The one about...
Yeah, I didn't get to make it, but I'm
Didn't
definitely
you?
down to this.
I've got the video of it, innit? I filmed the
you
whole
have to
thing.
pass
It's
it
funny,
over.
man. He's doing this thing about piles. But I ain't going to say much more.
Ultra
He's
Comedy
using the same material. But
in Brighton. But
Ultra
it's all
Comedy in
available.
Brighton.
And as Steve just mentioned, we'll have it in the description. You can donate. It's going to be raising money for cancer charities and that. So it's going towards a good cause. And of course, we get to hear Ray talk on stage or do his comedy piece. We'll be laughing at him. We'll even might heckle him. I think we'll just, I don't think we should heckle him. Like, I think
I'll
we'll
bring
just,
Even
some
if you
rotten
can't make it.
tomatoes.
Even if you can't make it down there, you can still donate. Sorry,
Yeah, I just said
check
that.
link out. Oh, did you?
yeah, I just said that.
I'm going to
say
edit
it.
you saying it out. So
He's just, once again, Steve just used his white privilege to talk all over me. Right, let's move on to the next question. The last one on the Instagram page. This one is from Mikey ABM. And it's, how much Guinness is too much Guinness?
Oh, no. I don't keep track of...
He forgets after the fifth one, innit? All becomes a bit of a blur then, doesn't
To
it?
be honest, like, I prefer that Nigerian Guinness, innit, in the bottles.
The 7.5%.
Nigerian Guinness.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
still not had that, you know.
It's got a mad taste, man.
7.5%.
Mad taste.
And it's I've
But
never heard of it.
they're only little bottles, you know what I mean? They're manageable, you know what I mean? At that strength and that, you're nice with a couple of them. I ain't really into drinking pints and pints and pints because nowadays you get a pint of Guinness, it's like all watery and shit.
Yeah.
You get that extra cold shit, don't really work for me, you know what I mean?
The next question is from Christopher Bradley. His question is, out of all the lyrics written by Pierre, what songs mean the most to him? Because his lyrics mean something to a lot of people, so it would be well good to know what means the most to him. Safe. Hope the podcast goes well. Thank you for that, Chris. Respect to
Nice
you.
one, Chris.
And wish you all the best in the world, young man. Don't let nothing get you down. Rise up and be strong. Anyway, Pierre, go on, man. Nah, Chris is a good kid. I like him.
Nice.
To my father, dead and gone, you gave me more than you'll ever know. Para siempre, hasta la muerte, me daste la fuerza y por PeLBU soy fuerte. Simply because my dad, you know what? He committed suicide and left this realm. And I so wish he was still here to see what we're doing here, and all our friends that we've grown up together and that as well knew him as well. I wish he'd be here to, like, yeah, experience a little bit of what we're all going through, you know, and the struggle of daily life in this society at the moment, that we're actually doing something positive, man. A lot of bands involved in that.
Yeah.
A lot of family from day. But yeah, I think that those lyrics that are personal to me all mean a lot. It will remind me of times that, you know, I've been through and experiences. And yeah, I'm blessed to be able to still be singing these songs. So,
of course, man. Like, I think that's like one of the best outlets for hardcore, is that, like, obviously we all meet up and we go to our shows and stuff, but at the same time a lot of people don't forget that this is also a way for us to sort of like let go and release and have some grief and stuff, because we all have good times, but there's also the bad times that go on in people's lives as well. So we have to reflect that in some ways, and if it can inspire people or help someone else cope with their grief and stuff, that can only be a good and positive thing. So yeah, man.
For real, I think hardcore has that power, definitely, because it's helped me in that way in my life growing up. And when it comes to making music, that's the main driving force for me, is to project that back out through our music and attitude to help other people in the same way that hardcore helped me, because otherwise it'd just be any other form of music, you know what I mean?
Where's when we get old? Women's fucking off. He's going toilet. All right, see you later. You're not part of this part of the question.
All right,
this is where we talk about.
This is the bit where we talk about Weimar.
Yeah, he was fucking late again, wasn't he?
He was fucking late again,
wasn't he? Like, it's real story. BMT's a real, for people listening, like, I can say this because, like, I'm part of this. I do it as well. BMT's a real thing, man. It's a real thing. So if there's any brothers who listen to this, like, you can attest and say that, yeah, it's a real thing. But
still get it.
Exactly. Just turn up on time and set your alarm quicker. But yeah, the last question that we've got from one of the kind people who have written into us is from Cassian Kime. He used to do vocals for Bleeding Scars of Betrayal. Is that right? Yeah, Burning Scars, sorry, Burning Scars, yeah. And he was with the B, yeah, my apologies. His question is not a question, but more of a thanks. Originally from a village in Wiltshire, and back in 97, I had zero access to bands. He sent tapes and flyers just to keep me in the loop. When I was living in High Wycombe, Katie would come and play, and we're just one of the soundest guys, humble and grounded. Nothing's changed, though Katie needs to come back to Glasgow and play again. Cass. So that's more of just a thank you to you. So if you want to have any kind words,
Cass, yes, yeah. we got to come back up to Glasgow. I tell you, I love Glasgow. Always have to love Scotland.
I think Cassian recently started the band. And my apologies because of can't remember the name of the band and stuff. But I'll definitely check out. And obviously, of course, leave it in the notes, or we can talk about on the next one. But yeah, big up all the guys from Scotland as well, man.
Yeah, we got a lot of good memories from playing Scotland in the past.
The Rat, when it was at the Rat, or was it a bar?
The Rat Trap.
The Rat Trap, that's it.
Some strip club or something.
Oh, was it?
Where they had poles in there. Even though like the show was happening in there, you could see that it was a different type of club at night.
Fucking hell, I'd love a Glaswegian stripper to call me Hen.
Mate.
That's a little darkness lit out there, isn't it? Like, sick. Oh, another question. Who's this from? Oh, okay, this is from my friend Mikhail, ex-Providence. Vegan 168.
¿Qué pasa, primo?
I want to know from Pedro, how in the early days to come from a multicultural background in the hardcore scene, since in Europe there haven't been many Latinos like, say, the USA, did you suffer any prejudice or discrimination?
Yeah, I grew up in North London at the time. I think there was more Latinos in South London when I was younger. So I didn't know too many besides like the friends of the family and that. But yeah, I encountered racism at school growing up, you know. It happened, I'm sure, in everyone's school. But yeah, there wasn't that much of a mix culturally in my school when I was growing up as well. But yeah,
So did you?
got through it.
You didn't have it in the hardcore scene in the early days.
No, I never really encountered it much, to be honest. You can see some dickheads about, but they didn't say nothing.
Yeah, what about yourself, man?
Yeah, I think we spoke about the racism thing, but like I said, there was I think I spoke about this before. That group of fashion skins that there used to be a group of fashion skins. I call them fashion skins because they weren't real skins.
Oh, that's when I clashed with them, innit?
Yeah, you clashed with them. But do you want a funny story about them skins? We used to go to a club in Ilford called Alcatraz, a rock club, and they used to always go there and just create havoc. And we clashed a few times, but it got to a point where they wouldn't fuck with me and I wouldn't fuck with them. But Nicky, bass player of Knuckledust, he used to date a girl called Kay, metal chick, and then basically he broke up with her, and she started dating a guy that we used to nickname Deaf Phil, because this is back in the 90s, right? He had a long leather jacket, he had the black combo trousers tucked into his leather boots, he had the long dyed black hair, he had all the inverted crosses, and this is in the 90s, so people used to, he was a bit older.
Sounds like
older
one of the
than us.
fucking kids from Columbine.
He looked just like that, man. But like, younger kids used to look up to him because they used to think, oh, he looked cool. Deaf Phil became friends with his group of fucking fashion skins, and I'll never forget, one day Kay was having a birthday party in East Ham, above a pub. What's the pub on the corner of East Ham, Lewis?
Denmark Arms.
Denmark Arms. There was a little room above there, function room you could hire out, and she was having a party, and I was like on my way to the party, and then I can't remember, I forgot something at home. I think my dog chain. Back then I never went anywhere without my dog chain. Went back to get my dog chain, and my house phone fucking rang. This is pre-mobile phones.
Did that make you late?
I was like, yeah. I was waiting for that.
One you left.
I'm staying out of this one. I'm staying out of this one.
I'm always late for everything, everyone. So anyway, it was Ray or Nick, and they're like, are you coming to the party? And I was like, yeah. And they was like, don't come. There's like all these fucking Nazis, all them Nazis, fashion skins have turned up, and they're playing the Womper Stomper soundtrack, and they're just firing food everywhere.
Hell.
So if it weren't for the fact of me going back to get my chain, I would have been the only black guy walking into a fucking function full of Nazis playing Womper Stomper.
Fucking hell.
The Rumble Stomper listening party.
Yeah, but yeah, they're the ones that used to go to all the shows, man, but they faded out anyway.
Romper Stomper soundtrack is low key kind of hard, isn't it? Like,
A couple of
I think
bangers
that was
on
an
there.
East London thing, innit? I
yeah.
don't really see them much, but
I was gonna touch on when I was growing up in my area, I never encountered any sort of like prejudice or hate and shit. I think obviously before we mentioned in previous podcasts about unconscious bias and people being a little bit funny and shit, but not out and out. Because I've heard stories of people in different parts of London like just getting straight up racist shit happening to them. So it's kind of shocking when you get a little bit older and you realise that kind of happens, because when I grew up as a kid, I never encountered none of that. And actually, luckily for me, I'm kind of blessed because a lot of people never had that opportunity. So some people get sort of like, I don't want to say, it sounds like it's word terminology, but chip on your shoulder, like, or anything like that, or feel a bit hard done by. So
but London's pretty mixed as well compared
That's
to
true,
other places,
like,
because we play a lot of places and it's mainly predominantly white faces I'm looking at.
oh, of course, mate.
And in London, it's just it's a mix, and it's a mix that constantly changes every few months or something. You know what I mean? As well, like obviously people passing through, and you know, then you got the permanent people living here as well that make up the scene. So
What's next for Pierre, man? That's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah, what's next for Pierre and what's next for Rucktion Records and Popi afterwards? We'll touch on that.
Besides chicken.
yeah, I guess I've been out of the mix for the last 3 years, having my son and whatnot, and yeah, now I'm a bit more close at hand and ready to get more involved. So yeah, we just want to pump out some music, really. Got no real agenda. As it goes for me, bund them out. We're going to push out stuff. Hopefully Knuckledust will push out something soon, and just keep it flowing, really. It's easily enough done for us, and we got a lot of output that we want to get out there. And Rucktion wise, yeah,
I was going to ask
there'll be
Poppy
more.
that. I was going to go and say.
Rucktion wise, I'm sure Poppy agree. Yeah, as the family evolves and that, there's going to be more bands coming up, so we'll be putting out more LBU shit, more Rucktion shit.
Pops?
Yeah, we're
Rucktion?
going to be doing the same thing. Same thing we've always been doing, and working with mates or bands that need to be helped or whatever. So we're going to put out this Bun Them Out Easy Money split on a 7-inch, because these songs are available online, but they're not. It hasn't been put out yet. And then maybe that Enemy Mind split with Bun Them Out. That's still all in the works, so I'm not sure. I know Drop Set, I've wanted for a while. You know, we've all wanted to do something with them for. You know, they're all family, so big up Drop Set.
Yeah, man.
But I'm probably forgetting more things.
We've got some new bands. We've got what, Catch These Hands, and what's John Carter's new band?
Infraction. They were fucking really good.
So I'm sure at some point,
that show was really
something
good.
will be coming out with them.
I know, and obviously we mentioned we just recently put out Last Orders Hardcore and Postal, which is on CD for £5, available from rucktionmusic.com, and of course Bandcamp, Last Orders at bandcamp.com or some bullshit like that, I don't know.
Shout out to Skill for the fucking amazing Last Orders.
Oh yeah,
If you like chicken and chips,
is that
or even if
amazing?
you don't, you know, but
Everyone
I
loves
always
that.
forget, man, this dude is the most underrated and understated people I've ever known. Like, and that's, as Pierre touched on earlier on, it's not just about music when it comes to Rucktion and like our craft and our people. We've got artists, we've got people who act and who write shit, and they do all sorts of stuff. But Skell is a don, man. If you ask Skell, can you? I literally, in my drunk state, I was like, yeah, Skell, draw a picture of a chicken with 2 guns in his hand, innit? And he fucking done it, like, he just done it, like, he done it, and I was like, bruv, I was fucking joking, mate. And he was like, yeah, and I was like, we're fucking using it, and then so that's it. So all the dumb ideas that come out of this band, I mean, it's obviously a group effort, but most of the dumb shit that comes out of Last Orders is from my fucking head, mate.
There you go.
There you go, mate.
Anyway, man, to wrap this up, I want to say thank you to you guys, man, for coming out.
It's been fun. Yeah,
It's been good, man.
Yeah, we'll have one more podcast before Christmas, I believe.
Yeah,
in the works. So keep your ears peeled for that.
All right, take care, everyone.
See ya.
You're listening to the Everyone But Us podcast, straight from the heart of London.